If there's one thing I fucking know on this planet, and it is cookies. I eat them. I love them. Look at me. I'm fucking. You think I got this thick without eating a fucking cookie or two? Come on. Cookie tier list day for Tuesday. We are in the last 4 or 5 tier lists that I have available. Well, that I want to do personally. I do have some fun ideas that will replace the tier list series afterwards that I'm working on right now, getting set up, and it's going to be some fucking banger of content. I'll tell you what. But for today, we're going to do a cookie tier list and go over some of the best and worst cookies. This was kind of the best list I could find. Obviously, not all of the best cookies are on here, but it kind of gets a little bit of everything. But we're going to get one thing out of the way right off the bat, and that is where that chocolate chip is an absolute god tier cookie. And if you don't agree with me, you can get the fuck out of here. I don't want you here. Chocolate chip. The day I die. And they have to be soft baked. If you're making those crunchy, like chocolate chip cookies, get the fuck out of the kitchen. No one wants you there. No one's they're eating them because they feel bad for you that you don't know how to make chocolate chip cookies. Okay, now let's get on to the other ones on less important subjects. First, we got these like grocery store, heavily frosted, processed, disgusting cookies. I remember I used to like these as a kid, but I also used to eat sand. So, like, my opinion as a kid really isn't valid. Going back and revisiting these as an adult, I realize that they are absolutely disgusting. And why waste my money when there is so many other good options out there? I'm going to give them an F tier. Next, these are the S'mores Chips Ahoy. Now, if you haven't had the S'mores Chips Ahoy, you're really missing out. They're soft and chewy, and they taste like a goddamn campfire in all the right ways. They are one of the best, like, bagged cookies you can get, or like chain cookies, whatever you want to call it. They are really good. Big fan of them. I'm also a big fan of the Chips Ahoy just chocolate chip, as you can tell, because chocolate chip is the best goddamn cookie. Okay, now on to this one. I'm not quite sure, since we don't really see what the inside is. I assume these are just going to be plain old cookies, just nice and simple, straight to the point. You can't go wrong with them, right? Cookies. There's some food on this planet that, like, you really can't go wrong with if it's like homemade. You know, like, you can overcook them or whatever, but if you just have a nice, like, soft cookie, like cooked cookie, it's hard to be mad about it. I'm gonna put those at a C, kind of our middle ground. We have some sprinkle cookies. A big fan of sprinkles. It's a great word to say. Try and say sprinkles angrily. You can't. It's really hard. Sprinkles. That just sound ridiculous. It just doesn't work. Next, I don't remember what these are called. They're really good with coffee and tea, but as a standalone cookie, it's like eating the fucking like desert. It's really gross. Not a big fan of them by themselves. And that's what we're rating, right? We're rating these just by themselves. We're not counting milk. We're not counting any of that shit. Just the cookie by itself. I'm gonna have to go with D on those. These are the Girl Scout cookies, and they are an absolute A tier. I actually just had some not too long ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't had them for like 10 years. And all of a sudden, I just came home and there was Girl Scout cookies on the counter, and I'm like, I'm going to have some of those for sure. And I was not disappointed. They are so damn good. With these next ones, I assume they're probably like a cinnamon something or the other. They look good. I don't know. They look run of the mill. Fortune cookies. Like, are we actually eating fortune cookies because they're good, or are we eating them because of the novelty of them having a fortune? I don't think fortune cookies are that good. Like, just normally, I wouldn't like go out of my way and buy like a bag of fortune cookies. I mean, they're not awful, but it's like it's like the whole thing, right? Because usually you're having it with dinner, and they kind of come as like a, here, as you're leaving, here's a fortune cookie. Read your fortune, see if it's cool or not. Uh, and since we're just rating the cookie itself, I have to go D tier. All right, Chips Ahoy Original, I'm not a fan of because they are really crunchy, and I just don't like a crunchy cookie. They are chocolate chip though, which means they're the best goddamn cookie on the planet. Now, these ones, I don't know what they're called. They kind of look like they got a little doo-doo of chocolate on them, like a perfect little doo-doo swirl. They are pretty good. I've had them a couple times. It's like a big Hershey's Kiss on top of like a soft, gooey cookie. And like, how could you not like it? I don't know what these ones are called. I've had them a couple times. They're pretty decent. What are these ones called? The ones that look like Krabby Patties when SpongeBob went and made all the colored ones. What are they called? Macaroons, right? Really good. Really good. Big fan of those. I didn't ever try those until I was an adult, and I'm not. The only thing that sucks about these, okay, like I think they're really good just by themselves. Like they don't need any milk or anything. But why are they so fucking expensive? Maybe I'm just going the wrong places. Like I live in Utah, so we got a lot of soda shops and a lot of white women who make, pastries and soda for a living, which is fine. It's a lot of like there's one every block, just like there's one every church every fucking block here, and it's all cool and shit. But they're like $3 or $4 per, and they're like tiny. They're like little tiny cookies, and they're good. Don't get me wrong. Maybe it's just because I'm fat and I want like 8 of them, but I don't want to spend like $30. But they're good. They're good. Gingerbread Men, I am not a fan of. I just never was, never have been. They're okay. Don't sleep on M&M cookies. I think that they're some of the best. They're pretty close to the goddamn chocolate chip cookies. But just not quite on that level. Like they're getting there. They're just not quite on that level. Now, I assume that these are oatmeal. Now, I like oatmeal cookies as long as they don't have the raisins. Now, that's not just because I'm an obese monster. It's because I really do think that putting raisins in a cookie is like the mismatched flavors just don't end up being good. I think oatmeal cookies are delicious, like just by themselves. But if you throw the raisins on there, I think it's just a weird flavor, like a weird flavor mix. So I'm just going to assume that these are oatmeal cookies. I'm going to put them at B. Red Velvet. Man, I never understood the hype of Red Velvet. Maybe I'm missing something. They just taste like chocolate. And maybe that's the whole thing. It's just like red chocolate. And these ones, they have macadamia nuts, which are great. No issue there. But Red Velvet in general just is kind of whatever for me. And this is where the controversy happens in this tier list. Oreos by themselves are definitely great. One of the best cookies you can just buy at the market with no questions asked. However, they're not S tier without milk. If you have Oreos and milk, I think they're easily an S tier cookie. But just by themselves, I can't say that I would want them any more than the ones that are here on the A tier. I don't remember what these are called. I'm not a fan. And I've actually never tried these. They look like powdered sugared cookies, maybe. These ones are really good. I think that's from the company that makes the little elves. They're pretty good. I enjoy them. Another one not to sleep on. Anything with mint. I don't know what it is, but mint is just fucking top tier. Now, I know I was giving shit about raisins and mixing, but I do like the cookies with jelly. Really good, really good. And then you're just run-of-the-mill basic ass macadamia nut cookies. They're okay. They're not chocolate chip. The greatest cookie to ever exist on this planet. But they're pretty good. Like they're definitely they could definitely be argued for maybe a B tier. But yeah, I think this is my list. I'm gonna arrange them in what I personally like. So we'll go in order. Obviously, chocolate chip. It's the greatest cookie to ever exist. And then A tier, man, where would I put stuff? I definitely think I'm gonna have the Girl Scout one there. Probably M&Ms, s'mores, Thin Mints, Oreo, macadamia. Definitely sprinkle right there. Then oatmeal, this one, the jelly ones, and then the poop ones. The run of the mill ones. This is probably how I would have it. No, we'll probably have red velvet there. Our D list. That's exactly how I'd have D list. Like this one right here, if this was counting milk and tea and different things, would easily be a B or an A tier. But just by itself, not good. But I don't think they're made to be just eaten by themselves. I think they're supposed to go with stuff. And then obviously F tier for those, and haven't tried that. But yeah, that's my tier list for cookies. Let's look at the community rank. Let's see what people got their tier lists. Oh, there are no tier lists to show. Oh, okay, well. Ha, cool. Cool story. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with this tier list. Like I said, we got a couple more to do, and then we're going to go into some new content on Tuesdays. Thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget that chocolate chip is the greatest fucking cookie ever made on this planet. Soft, gooey. Oh. Oh. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.